Hey guys, and welcome back to another FM22 Transfer Guide with me, Rexo FM, where today we are going over 3 signings and 3 sales for Manchester City, a side that has had a lot of success in the Premier League recently, since they have had a massive takeover, establishing themselves as one of the best clubs in world football that haven't quite won that Premier League yet. But with a couple of signings and a couple of sales, I know that we can make sure we do that with this team. If that sounds like something you would be interested in, make sure you do smash the like button on today's video, as well as subscribing to the Rexo FM YouTube channel so you don't miss more daily football manager content just like this with series and transfer guides. Very expectedly, there is high expectations on you at this club. They want you to reach the semi-final at a minimum of the Champions League. They want you to win the Premier League, reach the final of the FA Cup. To be fair, they don't really care about the other competitions, but those 3 are still going to be very challenging to complete. They want you to play attacking football, develop players using the club's youth system, sign high reputation players, play entertaining football and possession football, as well as signing young players to develop for a profit, maintain the club's most reputable reputation in England, and work within the wage budget. And at first that sounds like a lot to achieve, but to be fair, when they give you £100 million to spend in the first year, you can understand why they would want some pretty good results from you. So let's go sell some players to add to that transfer budget of £100 million, and I'm sure we can sign some absolute stars. The first player that we're selling is a bit of an unfortunate one because, to be honest, most of the players in Manchester City are very good. But Mahrez, at 30 years of age, with this amount of value, I think he's an obvious one to be getting rid of. With the signing of Grealish in there, with youngsters coming through the ranks like Ferran Torres. Where is Ferran Torres? He'll be down under Torres, most likely. Yeah, there we go. But if I do actually compare him to Jack Grealish or someone around that ability, we can see that there is a wee bit more ability going towards Jack. And at 30 years of age, Mahrez is not going to get a lot better, and his value is only going to start to decline very soon. So I think as a rotation option that might not even make it onto your bench, he's a man that you could definitely cash in on right now and try and make some money from. In this save, I've managed to sell him to PSG for only £32 million, which is much lower than I think you could actually get for him if you waited for the right bid, waited for the right deal. I was impatient and I just sold him, but even £32 million I think is a great deal for a man of this ability who's just getting older, not going to play a lot of games for you, so I think it's time to cash in and get rid of Mahrez. The next player that we're getting rid of is one I actually feel a wee bit bad about because he's a very good player just like Mahrez, but again he's 31 years of age, not going to improve a whole lot, and with the signing of Concello, who is about 5 years younger than this man, I think you really should be starting Concello instead. Yes, Kyle Walker has some better stats in a lot of areas, but I think that you got to justify starting Concello. You got to try and get that player getting as much game time as possible, improving as much as possible. And just like Mahrez, this man is only going to go down in value if you don't sell him right now. 31 years of age, worth £43 million. You can definitely hold out for a deal like that. But once again, I was pretty impatient. This time, probably a wee bit more impatient than I should have been. £17.5 million this man was sold for, which is an absolute steal for Liverpool, who have brought him in, and he's now worth a lot more. Yeah, I will admit, this isn't the best sale I've ever made, but when you got to make 3, and all the players in the team are very good, you got to get creative, and a 31-year-old right back who's not even going to be your first choice, or who I don't think should be your first choice, I think it's always a good idea to get rid of while you can. And you can see how desperate I am for sales. This team is so stacked. Not many people should be leaving the club. I've gone all the way down to the under-23s to get rid of a 17-year-old who was brought in just last year on a free. But I don't think he's ever going to cut the mustard in this squad. So I think it is a good time to cash on him. While there's a bit of hype around his name, while he looks like a decent talent, but probably isn't going to materialise into anything worth a decent amount of money. And if you can get that sort of a region for him, I think it's a very good deal. I would like to just explain myself really quickly for these sales because it's tough. It's tough because Fernandinho is going to be a starter. He's one of the oldest players, but he's not worth much money. I mean, Scott Carson attracts zero interest, same with Stefan. So, to be honest, This series is called 3 signings and 3 sales, but you could really justify not selling anyone in this first season. They have such a stacked squad, just need a couple of improvements, but I did end up selling that youngster, and let's find out how much I got for him and how much I sold him for. Well, no, that was the same thing. I mean, who I sold him for, who I sold him to. Probably should have re-recorded that. Unsurprisingly, we've sold him to the money bags of this world, to Newcastle United, and we got £11.25 million for him. Not all up front, but still a very good deal, and I'm pretty stoked with the amount of money to bring in for such a average talent. No offence, I mean, in real life he could definitely be incredible, but in the save, not exactly showing that. Now we have added to our tally, gotten what, £30 million plus 17, so like £50 million plus another 10, so £60 million. So we now have £160 million to spend on players. We can do some serious damage in the transfer market. Now, with all those deals done, if we quick pick the squad, it looks a little something like this. I think it's still a very strong 11, even after getting rid of some seriously impressive players here and there. Phil Foden in the reserves, as well as Ferran Torres coming through the ranks. John Stones as a centre-back option. It's beautiful. It's beautiful, even on the bench. But if we go into the squad depth screen, we can actually see where we might need to be improving. And in real life, I think it is clear what City have needed for quite some time. Gabriel Jesus is a beautiful striker, but with Aguero gone now, it's time to find a new world beater. So that first position we're going to be looking for is certainly going to be a new striker. On the left wing, you are stacked. On the right wing, you are stacked as well. So let's not even worry about those positions. In the cam position, you've got De Bryune, Bernardo Silva, Grealish, Sterling, Foden. You're fine. You're absolutely fine. Even De Bryune and Foden would be enough for that position. In the central midfield, you could play De Bryune if you wanted, Fernandinho if you wanted, Ilkay Gundogan. So you definitely have some options in there. But with Rodri, Gundogan, Fernandinho, and De Bryune maybe only being your real options, I think this could be an area you could potentially improve. In real life, of course, absolutely fine. But in this game, maybe a younger person come through the ranks looking to get even better. Phil Foden's, of course, going to be more of an attacking player. Maybe a more defensive-minded central midfielder could be a really good way to go. At right back, you've got Concello, and to be honest, getting rid of Walker might not have been the most intelligent decision because you no longer have a backup, so looking for one of them isn't the worst decision of all time. At left back, you've got Laporte, Ake, Zinchenko, and I think this clearly is another area that we need to improve because Laporte is a centre-back, of course. Ake is also a reserve centre-back, and Zinchenko is really our best left-back. Concello is obviously playing on that right-hand side. So that is an area of improvement we definitely need to think about. In centre-back, of course, we have enough options. Stones, Ake, Laporte, Diaz, no problems there. Goalkeepers, you're fine too. Ederson will be a solid goalkeeper, I think. Now we know what we need to improve at the central attacking striker. Then we need to improve a central midfielder, potentially a right back because I did get rid of Walker. Yeah, I wouldn't recommend actually getting rid of Walker now I come to think of it, but you know, it's 3 signings, 3 sales, and I had to get rid of someone. And then, of course, the left back position as well. Let's go into the market and let's find who we can buy. And you all know who the first signing is. When you think about a world-class striker that is going to be young, that is going to take your team forward in Football Manager, you think of Kylian Mbappe. And when you realise that his contract is running out at the end of the year, so you could get him in on a free anyway, you certainly think of Erling Haaland. To be honest, actually, I'd think of Haaland first, but you know, it's just trying to create a bit of comedic effect there. And he comes into our squad for just £70 million, could rise to £100 million. That is a bargain for a player of his ability, already probably the best striker in the world. But with his age, with his potential, with his ability, he could be one of the best players of all time in this Manchester City side for you. I loved him last year in Football Manager. I see no reason why he won't be just as good, if not better this year. 18 finishing, 19 pace, beautiful mental attributes, decent dribbling, decent first touch, just brilliant across the board. I think he is going to be your world-class striker for your entire Man City save. Next up, we've improved that left-back position that, to be honest, has needed to be solidified by a real world-class left-back for quite some time. I think we've found that man. Jose Gaya, he's 26 years of age, so not the youngest man of all time, but certainly in a very good stage of his career right now. Had a lot of experience in Valencia, actually his only club he's ever been in his career, but at a price of £35 million, could potentially rise to about 50. This player is an absolute bargain, just like Haaland. 16 pace, great stats for that complete wingback. Could play as a supporting wingback on fullback duty, just a general wingback if you want him to. He is perfect for that left back position. Could go all the way up to left wing if you needed him to. I would keep him at left back personally, but using him as your starting left back with Zinchenko behind him as an option, I think is going to give you a very solid defence. Now, if you actually think about it, now you've got Gaya, you've got Laporte, you've got Diaz, and you've got Concello. It's potentially the best back four in the world. Potentially. I don't need a riot in the comments. And our final signing is another world-class player, and it literally says it here. Nicola Barella. He comes in for just, now this is mental, £40 million, sorry. Could eventually rise to 70, I will admit, but for a world-class midfielder, are you going to complain? Of course you're not going to. He can play more defensively if you need him to. He can play more attackingly if you need him to. Of course, you can certainly train him to play in that CDM position. He has the stats to definitely do a job there, especially as a deep line playmaker. Look at all those greens in that position, boys and girls. He is a beautiful player in this year's Football Manager. 24 years of age as well, so could definitely improve. I've seen him improve, and I think he is a beautiful midfielder for you to use for your entire save. And now, this is what your Manchester City side looks like. And that's not even me fiddling with it. Sometimes I say, this is what your team's going to look like, but I've actually edited the best 11 to make it look like my signings are a wee bit better. I swear on my life, that is not what I've done here. You can see that this is the best 11 according to my assistant manager. I mean, to be fair, sometimes they give you a best 11. It's just not. But anyway, that's besides the point. Haaland up top, Barella in there, Gaya, and now there's absolutely no weaknesses in the squad. If you don't like Fernandinho, play Gundogan. If you don't like playing De Bruyne in the central attacking midfielder spot, play him down as a deep line playmaker, move him in onto support, and put the man, the myth, the legend, Phil Foden, up in that central attacking midfield spot. You've done brilliantly if you've made these signings and you've made these sales to give yourself some serious bank account money and then spending it on world-class talents. There's not a single player here that I wouldn't have been comfortable putting on the thumbnail on today's video, and that's what I always try and do. Get at least one signing that will be awesome for the thumbnail. And of course, Haaland is exactly that. If you guys have enjoyed this video, please make sure you do smash the like button on it, as well as subscribing to the Rex FM YouTube channel so you don't miss the daily Football Manager content coming your way with this series and more stuff here and there throughout the Rex FM channel. Please let me know down in the comment section below who you want me to do a 3 signings and 3 sales with. We're still planning on doing that Real Madrid one, so don't you worry, that will be coming very soon. But I want to have a bigger list than just that, so let me know who you want me to do. I'll make sure I add it to the list. Thanks so much for watching as per usual, and I will see you all later.